Is Laiba here? Perfect. All right, so next up we have Laiba Mirza presenting parental leave policies influenced by companies in the US, battling inequities and realizing transformational health outcomes data.
Hi, my name is Laiba Mirza. Along with Dr. Winkov and Diane McCoon, I am pleased to present to you all my topic, parental leave policies, battling inequities, and realizing transformational health. As you can see, there is no guaranteed policy in the United States with the amount of leave present in paternity and maternity leave. There are two acts within the United States policies, the FMLA and the FEPLA. FMLA was enacted in 1993, which ensured up to 12 weeks of unpaid leave with various rigorous qualifications and different requirements in order to receive the leave. FEPLA in 2020 was in addition to FMLA, which ensured up to 12 weeks of paid leave guaranteed with it. And in addition to the rigorous requirements, there were two more aspects. The amount of paid leave afterwards had to be required within a 12-month expanding of the child's birth and adoption. And from there, the amount of leave signed on a contract had to be 12 weeks after, with the post guaranteed that you would be working within that company. Comparing to the United States and other countries, as you can see in the graph on that side, it says 0 weeks of paid parental leave in the United States. This is because there's a big if clause in the FMLA and FEPLA. There is no guaranteed paid leave. It just states you could possibly have up till 12 weeks of leave. And comparing to other countries, Estonia has 86 weeks, and Switzerland's up there with other European countries. As after the 1900s, women are more getting into the workforce, and with that, there needs to be a stand for maternity leave and paternity leave. And with PBGH and Healthy Start, we will be able to make a guaranteed policy that will allow us to create options and a requirement for leave. As you can see on the bottom, the United States is the only orange, basically, color. The orange means 0 to 3 weeks of paid leave, and that's for maternity leave, and same thing for paternity leave. There isn't that many. Our objectives for this was a 5-year plan. In year 1, it was completed as of now, and we were able to create a study, analyze a survey, detect that survey in the initial baseline examinations of every companies within there. And within that survey, we were able to determine the informations, demographics, policies, workforce policies, the difference between traditional and non-traditional parents. As you will see in the upcoming slides, there is a difference. And then within years 2, 3, and 4, we will be able to combine our workforce policies and create this relationship between the employers and the PBGH company to influence different acts and benefits that should be happening. In year 5, we will be able to say the difference between employees versus employers and hear what employees have to say over the last 4 years, what has happened. For methods, we created a 64-item survey, and this survey contained demographics, company information, leave policies, examinations between traditional and non-traditional parents, and other various benefits. It was distributed to 375 companies, with 25 companies responding, with over 200,000 lives being covered within this survey. The survey had different industries, like I said, covering different health coverages, total lives, and number of employees. And these industries ranged from professional to financial to educational to nonprofit. So there was a wide range of possibilities. The questions we asked consisted of multiple choice, free response, yes or no, and scale-like questions, and descriptive analysis was used to examine the survey. As for results, our population was 25, like I said before, and our main alarming result was that the benefits offered to traditional parents versus non-traditional parents are completely different. And as you can see with adoptive parents, 21% is like similarity rates, which it should be much higher, around 100. They're all parents in that sense. And companies, when asked if they would be like to change their policies in the next 2 years, they had no intentions of changing their policies. Around 88% for maternity leave said no, and 86% said no from paternity leave. And as you can see on the right side, paternity leave's average is around 4 to 6 weeks, with 11% stating there will be no pay after if it's extended. And with maternity leave, it's 6 to 10 weeks, with a range scaling from 3 weeks to 20 weeks. So there's a wide outliers range possibility. In conclusion, the United States, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, PA in general, right, is not the same as other European countries or seen as other higher developing countries. And like the graph we suggested at the beginning, 0 weeks versus 86 weeks. And with that, we want to provide more sufficient parental leave policies that can help the next generations to come within it. There needs to be a change in the leave policies in the sense that the child, adopting child, actual birth, whatever type of child, there's a new child on it, and they should have the right to have positive environmental influences in their lives. Their brain development in the first 5 years of life is very essential, and having both parents around can influence positivity within the child's environment. And from there, all of this is based off of employers. How many companies are being surveyed? What are the companies saying? How much leave is provided actually? Is all determined by companies. So hearing the employee's perspective and seeing what they want, what they need, is what our goal ends up to be. And for future directions, we would love to be able to create this relationship between the employers, the companies, and allow for a foundation to be formed that we can help and benefit, adding more policies and regulations to ensure that the employees have the rights of additional benefits if it's needed with leaves. Thank you. Questions?
Considering how the United States is both an incredibly resource-rich country and a very highly profitable country, do you think that for these parental leave programs to be implemented, there has to be a structural change in the actual economy of the United States? So, for example, going into a more social-democratic model, such in the way that Nordic countries such as Finland and Norway have instead?
Yes, so I believe in the sense that how we are built, European countries, like you said, Norway and Finland, are ranging in providing more higher care and higher efficiency in that sense, in which there was a study done actually, and the United States was ranged at a 9, which is a median between 0 and 18. However, that was like for amount of weeks, and since there's a big if policy in the FMLA and FEPLA, it was in the middle. Switzerland, it provides more leave options and paid leave. So whatever your salary is at the beginning, during the leave, it increases. It was a 0. And that's just because the leave was shortened, however the pay was more. So with that, there will be some kind of sacrifices. So the leave would be shorter, pay higher in that sense, but the United States would have to change some kind of policy, but our focus for right now is to stay within Pittsburgh and go to Pennsylvania and then look at the whole federal scale. So like in the next 5 years, this would be more of like 20 plus years of a scale, but it would have to be an influential change for sure. Thank you.
You mentioned that you had 25 companies respond.
Yes.
Was there any grouping of those? Were they like large companies, small companies? Because you certainly surveyed a lot of,
Yeah.
or you tried to reach out to a number of companies.
Yeah, so they weren't specifically large or small. Actually, the smallest one was with 86 employees versus the largest one being 60,000 employees. So a wide range right there, and it's not secluded to only lower-ended companies versus higher. And the companies listed in the survey were well-known companies too, with lower nonprofits as well in it.
Okay, time for
Thank
one
you.
more question here.
Given the issue right now with recruitment and retention for employers looking to pull employees in, but not only that, retain them for a period of time, how do you see this policy or change in policy impacting or influencing employers?
Yeah, thank you. So within the next year or so, it's speculated to have a 33% of increase in turnover rate. And with that, turnover rate means that the employee is being trained and costs are being applied to train these employees. And if the employee leaves after a year, the net cost of the company will decrease. So in order to have employees come in, the benefits need to be increased so then the company seems more attractive in that sense and there's more opportunities with it. So with retention rate increasing, companies need to increase the opportunities such as like doula classes or pregnancy classes or any lactation services that they can provide. Even with sick child leave, some companies don't even influence that, oh, if my child is sick, I can't miss work, I have to be at work. And especially for those that are on the lower wage versus higher wage, there's a difference in how many benefits they receive versus the higher end receiving, which is different opportunities. Thank you.